Hi. So today's chapter is water, and in this sequence of chapters, these are all important because here at class 7th, they're introducing the fundamental concept. But in class 11th, we will learn more on details, and those becomes UPSC standard. And because here it is introduction level, so you might have doubts where like if you have read through 11th class and think why they are limited the information till here and like that. So while this is an introduction, you should also feel that from that introduction, whatever is happening around, how I am aware about. If we are talking about water, so then what are the water bodies of the world? Let me look at the map. Let me check out the map. The map in the book, which is there in class 7, is very limited. But yes, that's also important. So coming to the chapter is talking about water. It introduces the water cycle. Water is a renewable source. I'll just sorry. Now about the chapter, I'll just run through the PDF once. So if you see the first half of the chapter here, there are certain terrarium glossary they have used. They speak about the concept of water cycle and what is terrarium, what is a terrarium. And here the major source of fresh waters are rivers, ponds, springs, and glaciers. The ocean bodies, the seas contain salty water. The water of the ocean is salty or saline as it contains large amount of dissolved salts. Terminology: dissolved salts. Most of the salt is sodium chloride or the common table salt. Okay. Now the diagram wise what they have shown here is this is a very common diagram. I'm sure all of you know it. This is the water body. Evaporation happens and it condenses into cloud, and then it precipitates or rains at hills, and then it runoffs again come out to the water body. So this is the water cycle and cloud formation which they have shown in the class 7th level. Then there is a map. The map shows the major seas and lakes and rivers. So when we see North America, Great Bear Lake, Great Slave Lake, Lake Winnipeg, Lake Superior, Lake Huron, Mississippi River. Okay, these are important in the map. You should be able to visualize it. So here there are Great Lakes, 5 lakes in sequence. You should be able to remember their name in sequentially for your basic standard. But for this class, this is what they have introduced. Then comes the Caribbean Sea, dividing the North and South America. On the left of this is Pacific Ocean. In South America, this is Amazon River that they have mentioned. Then they have shown South Atlantic Sea between South Africa and Africa, South America and Africa, South Africa. The Northern Atlantic is this part, in Arctic Ocean. Then in African continent, they are showing Niger River, Congo River, Lake Victoria, Orange River, Nile River, Mediterranean Sea, Red Sea, and in Europe they are showing Danube River, Black Sea, then Caspian Sea. When they come to Asia, they show Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, river-wise Ganga River, Brahmaputra River, and Huangho in China, South China Sea, East China Sea, and in Australia they show Darling River and Coral Sea. So this is what Indian Ocean, Southern Ocean, I told Arctic Ocean. This is what they have shown in the map. Another important information in the map is this Tropic of Capricorn, 20 degree, Tropic of Cancer, 23.5 degree. This we have learned previously also. So you should remember, like if they ask, like river between 20 degree north and 40 degree north. Danube doesn't lie in that, or neither these lakes lie in that. So these are all observationally. So we should be able to recall and remember. You see your atlas also. Then they speak about distribution of water. Ocean has 97.3 saline water, and then comes the fresh water, and this is how the constitutes of fresh water is there. Then why in Israel would Dead Sea people float? Because per liter how much salt? 340 gram. Otherwise salinity is around same only. 335 parts per thousand. Water distribution can be demonstrated by, so this is a spoon experiment where they are saying that in 2 liters of water, if it is the entire world, 12 spoon of water would be the fresh water, and rest entire thing is yeah water. Then talking about water, then they come to about ocean circulation. In ocean circulation, all the way the cold currents and uh, warm current move. They speak about that. They also say March 22 is World Water Day. We should be able to remember it. And then how waves are formed through blowing winds. Larger the wind wave, automatically in the sea, more rough the big waves are formed. Okay. Then they introduce tsunami, that huge tidal wave called tsunami. And they also speak about the incident of uh, 26 December 2002. Yeah, if you are not aware, please read through them. What had happened, how it impacted India, and all, where it came. There is an introduction of topic tides. The rhythmic rise and fall of ocean water twice in a day is called tide. And why it happens? The high tide when water covers much of the shore by rising to its highest level, and the low tide when the water falls to its lowest level. The strong gravitational pull exerted by the sun and the moon on the Earth's surface causes the tides. This is the reason. The gravitational pull of sun and the water of the Earth closer to the moon gets pulled under the influence of the moon's gravitational force and causes high tide. So if that is the case, when is the gravitational force very high? So when at spring tide level, we'll see these are the spring tide when they are in line, neap tide when there is this, they're in 90 degrees position. So the during the full moon and new moon days, this is Amavasya, this is new moon, this is full moon. During the full moon and new moon days, the sun and the moon and the earth are in the same line and the tides are highest. These tides are called spring tides, but when but when the moon is in first and last quarter, this is the quarter wise. The water gets diagonally. You see, this is the water area, how it is getting attracted here, how it is being attracted, and how the water is getting attracted. Shape of this gray oval. So these are called neap tides. And then the EA chapter introduces the ocean current. And originally they say that basically they are warm and cold current, and uh, they originate near the equator and move towards the pole. The cold current carry from water from polar to higher latitude to tropical or lower latitude. Something coming from pole is called cold current, and something going from equator towards pole is called warm current. And then the names of the current: the Labrador Ocean Current is cold current, and Gulf Stream is a warm current. Warm brings about warm temperature over land surface, and areas where warm and cold current meet provide the best fishing grounds of the earth. So let us see if we can. This is very important. Uh, what do you call map about warm and cold current? Many times this comes in GS also to write out. So here they have marked cold current by blue and warm current by red. So what are the? This is equator. From equator to pole comes warm current, and from pole to equator comes cold current. So there are the names of current. Let us see on the northern hemisphere: Labrador current. It is coming from Greenland, and then California current, another cold current, and Oyashi current, another cold current. Canaries current near Africa, another cold current. Southern hemisphere, Humboldt current, Peru. Humboldt is a name of geographer also. West wind drift, west wind drift, west wind drift. These are all cold currents. And Benguela current is cold current. Then West Australian current is a cold current. So basically, wherever there is a cold current, near to that is a desert. So we'll see observation in the map. And now when it comes to warm current, it is Gulf Stream. This is Gulf Stream. Gulf is here. American Mexican Gulf. This Gulf. Then Alaska current. See, because of the warm currents, this area is inhabitable. Like people are able to stay. Wherever the warm and cold current meet, that becomes the land of great fishing. Here you see Kuroshio current and Oyashio meet in Japan. So this becomes fantastic area for fishing. Similarly, Humboldt area, equatorial counter current or south equatorial current, Humboldt current. Then another cold current I missed out was Falkland current. The Brazilian current and Falkland current meet. Benguela and equatorial current meet. Achilles is another warm current, and see the circle. It is kind of making a circle. So the current flow in the world. These are the reason why the water flows. Water flows from cold to warm, and this cycle across the globe makes the water circulation through sea route. They have their automatic circulation because of the current movement. So that information is enough for class 7th level. So the areas where warm and cold current meet also experience foggy weather, making it difficult for navigation. So this is what the chapter is kindly taking you through. So if we summarize what is there in the chapter, then it is speaking about water is a renewable resource because it constantly circulates between the ocean, atmosphere, and land. This circulation is called as the water cycle. So, what are the main process over here? Evaporation, sun's heat changes water into vapor; condensation, cooling of water vapor into clouds; precipitation, falling of water back to the earth as rain, snow, sleet, or hail; runoff or infiltration, water flows back to river, ocean, or seeps underground. Earth functions as a terrarium, a closed glass jar experiment where water evaporates and condensates inside. The same water keeps recycling over millions of years. When it comes to distribution of water on Earth, about 70%, 71% of Earth's surface is covered with water, but most of it is saline and not usable for drinking or irrigation. Distribution of total water: Ocean 97.3 is salty and unusable for drinking, and ice caps are around 2%, groundwater 0.68%, fresh water 0.0009%, inland seas and in salt intake, salt lakes 0.009%, atmosphere 0.0019%, and rivers 0.0001%. Most usable for daily needs. Now, Dead Sea in Israel has very high salinity, 340 gram per liter. Swimmers float due to its density. Average salinity of ocean is 35 parts per thousand. Despite abundance, water scarcity is common because usable fresh water or potable water is very limited and unevenly distributed. Now comes the movement of ocean water. Unlike lakes and ponds, ocean water is never still. It moves in different forms. First form is wave, rise and fall of ocean water, mainly due to the wind blowing in the ocean surface or sea surface. Strong winds equal to bigger waves. The introduction of tsunami happens over here, or harbor waves, and caused by earthquake, volcanic eruptions, water, underwater landslides. The story of 26 December 2004 tsunami is mentioned, and the destruction it brought in. Then tides wise definition: rhythmic rise and fall of sea water twice daily. Gravitational pull of the moon and the sun on Earth around causes this thing. High tide is water rises to highest level, low tide to the water recedes to the lowest level. Spring tide, sun, moon, earth in a straight line, full moon and new moon. Highest tides. Neap tide, sun, moon, earth at right angles, first and last quarter, the lowest tides. Importance of tides: helpful in navigation, ships can enter harbors easily. Useful in fishing, fish come out near coast. And used in tidal energy generation in some places. Ocean currents, large streams of water moving constantly in definite directions. Warm currents originate near equator, move towards poles, that is Gulf Stream or Kuroshio. Cold currents originate in polar region, move towards tropics. Example, Labrador and Oyashi. We have seen it in the map. Impact on climate: warm currents plus gives warm coastal temperature. Europe is warmed by Gulf streams. Cold currents are cooled by coasts. Fishing grounds: meeting of warm and cold currents plus rich in plankton, best fishing areas. Examples are Japan's Kuroshio and Oyashi where they meet, and eastern North America, Gulf Stream and Labrador Stream. Navigation: mixed zones creating fog and hazardous for ship. So here, this is what the chapter is summarizes for, and in the introduction of water becomes very important for the henceforth as very relevant for our studies. The revision MCQs which are provided to you, they would be apt for revising the chapter, and also I've added some UPSC level just for higher order introduction. They are not tough, but yes, once you do it, your brain gets activated. So I still say first, because these all things you are aware, first do your practice MCQ. And MCQ there would be map questions, but map is references in the book. I have not copied the map in the PDF. So do your practice MCQ first, however it is, then start reading the chapter and then write down your own summary note. Condense it as much as possible, at least put it in one page or half page like that, and try to see the chapter notes, whatever is there for you if you missed out on anything. Uh, so that's how we close this chapter. Moving for the next chapter in the next video. Thank you.